just got done watching The King's Man. Yes, this isn't the third movie in the Kingsman franchise. Well, it is the third movie, but it doesn't take place after the second movie. No, it takes place before. This is a prequel taking place during World War I. Confused yet? Well, the story kind of confused me overall, and I have a lot of thoughts because I actually walked out of this movie not just frustrated, but very sad because I wanted to love this. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're going to be discussing The King's Man. This is about one man who must race against time to stop the history's worst tyrants and criminal masterminds as they get together to plot a war that could wipe out millions of people and destroy humanity. There's Ralph Fiennes, Gemma Arterton, Harris Dickinson, and Djimon Hounsou. Now, I have been really looking forward to this. I freaking love the Kingsman franchise, especially that first movie. That first movie was one of the biggest surprises I've ever seen in theaters. I remember not really caring about this movie, being like, why is Matthew Vaughn doing this movie next and not the next Kick-Ass or the next X-Men? Come on, man. And I just kept rolling my eyes at the thought of this other type of spy film. Then I finally saw a clip from that film the night before it opened, and me and my friend watched it and we're like, we have to go see that. That action scene looks great. We went and saw the movie and we absolutely loved the first Kingsman. And then The Golden Circle came out and I actually really like that one. It's not perfect, it's not great, it's definitely not as great as the first Kingsman, but I still enjoy it. So The King's Man, when it was announced, even though it was going to be a prequel, I said, I'm in for it. Matthew Vaughn kind of said that he wants to do this and then do a Statesman spin-off or a Kingsman 3 afterwards. And I was all for it. Give me as much Kingsman as possible. After this one, though, I just want to get back to Eggsy's story, or maybe just kind of make it this be it. I know they just recently announced that they are doing a Kingsman 3 with Eggsy and that they are going to be filming next September, which makes me excited. But walking out of this one, I just kind of felt lackluster and sad. But of course, before we get any further into this video, guys, I do want to hear your guys' thoughts on the Kingsman franchise and in general your thoughts. How excited are you for the brand new one? Are you excited at all? Do you hate these movies? Let's discuss it all down below, and make sure again to hit that like and subscribe button if you love talking movies. Once again, The King's Man. I'm all about film appreciation over here, and I do want to start with my pros. And one of the biggest pros I do have on this movie is the performances and really much all the memorable characters you get in here. Every single character had some fun line or fun moment or awesome sequence that I sat there and I was like, I really dig this character. If it's Gemma Arterton's Polly, who I thought was freaking awesome throughout this entire movie. I love her attitude, her sass, and the way that she just made it work. Rhys Ifans, who plays Rasputin, and again, I might be mispronouncing some of these names and I heavily apologize for that, but this Rasputin character had been many talks from the trailers and everything of that nature, and I really dug him, even though he is the most Kingsman of Kingsman thing that you could possibly have in this movie. And the segment that he was in was probably one of my least favorites of it all, and I wish Rasputin was definitely in more of the film per se. And even going as farther from there, Harris Dickinson, who plays Conrad Oxford, the son of our main character, I liked him. But again, the film has a tonal issue, which we'll talk about, and that is one of the parts of it. But, of course, Djimon Hounsou, who plays Shallow, awesome. Anytime he shows up in anything, you know you're getting something worthwhile. But truly enough, the big reason to see this is Ralph Fiennes as Orlando Oxford. Holy shit, can we get more Ralph Fiennes in action films, because he absolutely killed it. This is the same way we got Colin Firth as Harry Hart in the other two Kingsman movies. That is the same feeling that I had watching Ralph Fiennes kick ass on the screen. I love him in the James Bond franchise. I love him in Grand Budapest Hotel and really much anything he shows up in. But God, he's so badass in here. He has the swagger, the swiftness, the cunningness, and of course the handsomeness that you all want in your spy. But even most of all, he has the brutality of it all, and I loved seeing him in this. It's like how Matthew Vaughn made Colin Firth a badass. This is the same type of movie that makes Ralph Fiennes a freaking badass. A certified one at that.
You so totally rock, Squirt!
Even adding on to the badass tone, the action scenes you expect to be amazing. And these are the type of action scenes that when I see, and then I go and see like a different type of action movie that definitely doesn't have the same type of style or these one-take shots or in general just great editing, it makes me just sit there like pissed, because I'm like, why can't you be as good as that? And I get it, everyone has their own action styles and directing styles, but Matthew Vaughn, every single one of his action scenes he's ever directed, whether it's X-Men, Kick-Ass or this whole entire Kingsman franchise, I freaking adore them and love them to pieces. I love how he edits it and puts it all together. It's just such an energetic time, and that's what I love, because this might be the Kingsman movie with the most amount of action yet. And that's a good and a bad thing, because the greatness of it all is every action scene is entertaining, energetic, and infuses that spark that we love from the Kingsman franchise. On top of that, though, it does put a detriment to the story at times, and this is where we kind of start to segue towards my mixed category, because overall, I was not a fan of this story, and in fact, it wasn't my cup of tea per se. Half of this story I really dug, and the other half I didn't. The first half of this movie feels like Matthew Vaughn was trying to make more of a straight up World War I film that had some tonal issues within it, because it's trying to be this World War I drama, but also a Kingsman film. Yeah, you might be saying, well, they have kind of the same sounds. Kingsman is more of, it makes fun of the spy genre and has fun with it, where the World War I drama aspect was trying to be a little bit more serious in the vein of like Tinker Tailor Spy, or even additionally adding on to there, like a 1917. I actually had issues with that because the tones were clashing so much, it made me frustrated because I was laughing and enjoying, and then all of a sudden I was supposed to feel depressed. The first half of this movie, this back and forth jerking of the entire film, really made me feel whiplash while watching the movie, and not in the best way possible. Alongside that, the story has so much going on that at times it does feel even convoluted, with so many characters, so many different territories. You have a 2-hour and 5-minute movie, and you have a lot to get through within the story, but you're also giving us a lot of action while entertaining. I definitely needed more from the story front to really make me invested with what was going on here. Honestly, besides a couple little lines here and there, and even maybe the one thing that happens towards the end of the film, this doesn't feel like a Kingsman prequel. Take out the style and again some of the Easter eggs, this feels like a straight up just World War I action film that Matthew Vaughn wanted to make, and I actually think it might be one of his weakest movies because of that. I really do feel like he went into the office and he wanted to make more of a World War I drama, and they were like, we don't want to do that, it's not going to sell, and he goes, whoa, wait, it's a Kingsman film, and this is how that happened. Maybe that's not actually how it happened, but I expected a lot more from this. And again, while I was mixed on that first half and really didn't like it, and that's where a lot of my cons go, the back half thankfully got better, but it still wasn't great. And that's where I wanted to. Again, I was entertained from the action. I was entertained by the comedicness of it all. And some of the characters in here, actually all the characters in here, are very memorable. But the sequences in general, the story itself, I've already pretty much forgotten a lot of it, and I just kind of sat there, again, frustrated and sad, because I was like, this should have been great. I think for me, when you do get a movie like this, well, yes, you can enjoy it for what it is as an action film, I expected so much more from the story. Kingsman has some of the best stylish action sequences to date in this franchise, alongside some really memorable characters, but the story, it really was not my cup of tea. I left pretty sad, as I love this franchise, and this one didn't work all the way for me. I truly wanted it to, and while I loved Ralph Fiennes' character, I just couldn't get into this movie at all, really. I just kind of sat there frustrated, sad, and just wanting to love the movie, but everything that once I started to kind of really like it, something would happen and be like, damn. And then once we finally kick into the second act, it felt a little bit too late. Once we got to the second act, I was just kind of sitting there to finally just enjoy the film. I was like, screw it, I'm not going to win on the story. Let's just enjoy these action sequences. And in a mindless action film, in those sequences, you can. But when you can tell that everything else is trying so hard to work, it just didn't for me. And I'm hoping that the next Kingsman movie will work for me, or even the next Matthew Vaughn movie, because I really love what Matthew Vaughn does as a director. So with all that said, I'm going to give The Kingsman a C. Thank you once again, guys, for watching this. You guys are seriously all the best, and I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. If you totally disagree with me, let me know down below, because that is what's so important about talking movies, is hearing everyone's opinion. If you do like this review, though, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see movies early like me, make sure to head on over to Sandwich on Films on how to see those. But guys, we got a busy week coming up. Spider-Man No Way Home is finally in theaters, and I'll be doing a lot of reviews, non-spoiler reviews, spoiler reviews, rankings, all sorts of things like that, as well as my review for Nightmare Alley is already out, and that is a great movie as well from Del Toro. Go check that out. It also comes out Friday. But of course, my name is Zach. Thank you once again for watching this, and of course, until next time, stay classy.